Welcome to my kitchen. My name is Elizabeth, and every week on this very channel I talk all things backyard gardening, seasonal eating, and a little side of wellness and herbs and spices along the way. This week I'm covering cranberry sauce. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. So tell me in the comments down below if you like your cranberry sauce chunky or if you like it smooth. Today I'm going to show you both ways in a naturally sweetened recipe, and there's going to be a little side of water bath canning along the way. So stay tuned. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so by clicking that red subscribe button down below. I make a new video every week, and that way you will be up to date on everything we're doing around here. Let's get started. We'll cover the recipe first and then the canning process in the second half of the video. This recipe used 2 pounds of cranberries and 2 cups of orange juice, a cup of water, and a cup and a half of honey. Now the second half cup I added later after doing some taste testing on this batch. So you can't see it here in the picture, but I basically just measured 4 cups of liquid, get that started in a pot on the stove, and wash my cranberries and add 8 cups, which ended up being about 2 pounds, of cranberries into the liquid. While the cranberries pop, I start chopping ginger. If you don't like big pieces of ginger in your cranberry sauce, you could also use a grater. This is especially true if you're going to leave it whole berry and you're not going to strain it. Arrived at the end of making the sauce when you can cool it down slightly and it makes a little skin over the top. You can either leave this whole berry and can it whole berry. You can use an immersion blender and just have it a little bit pulpy, or you can strain it through a sieve. The naturally sweetened cranberry sauce will not turn to jelly quite the same way that sugared sauce will, but it still has a delightful, smooth texture. Now this is officially the end of cranberry sauce. It's really easy to make, but I'm going to rewind a little bit back to the point where you just had your berries starting to simmer and cook in the pot, and we're going to get started on the canning process. Because I'm canning small jars, I just need a regular 8-quart stock pot. I put my Instant Pot trivet in the bottom of it, fill it about 3/4 of the way full of water, and I put my jars in the pot to boil, and this sanitizes them. I also add a drop of vinegar to keep the jars looking crystal clear. Now right before I pull my jars out, I also dip my lids and my rings in the boiling water just to get them sanitized, and I keep my cranberry sauce bubbling to keep it hot. The main rule of thumb with water bath canning is you need hot jars with hot food. When everything was as sterile as can be, I started filling each jar. As I filled the jars, I'm very careful to wipe the rim with a very clean paper towel and make sure there's no water droplets or food droplets left on the rim of the can. The other important thing about water bath canning is that you need to leave a little headspace, so I didn't fill the jars all the way full. I think the recipe says 1/4 inch of headspace. I think I left a little bit more than that. Then when you put the rings on, be sure that they're a little bit loose or not completely squeezed down tight. This is to let air escape from the jars during the water bath, and it helps create that vacuum that you need to seal the jars.
Cranberries are one of those flavors that, because they're so acidic, they pair really well with things that are bitter. One of my favorite combinations is caramelized onions and beef with a side of collard greens or another dark green that's been cooked down. Put the cranberry sauce on the side and kind of eat it all together, or put it onto a sandwich.
15 minutes later, I have 7 jars of cranberry sauce all ready to bring to my relatives or give as gifts to my neighbors before the Thanksgiving season. They should not be touched until they are completely cool.
If you can lift the lid like this with your hands, then your jar has sealed correctly. And then the last step I do is I just add the date of the packing on top. The SureTight lids are certified for up to 18 months. So if we don't use this year for Thanksgiving, I can just save it for next Thanksgiving, which is kind of crazy to think about. Just make sure that seal is still tight, and that will mean that there has not been any bacterial activity inside your jar. So if you found this interesting, please give it a like. I appreciate all your feedback and comments, so let me know if you have questions or any other video ideas, and I will see you in a week, which will be the day before Thanksgiving, in our next video. Take care.